Hello, friends, and welcome to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have 3 great news stories. And in this episode, you'll see, first, the story about Karen, who can't tell the difference between a private detective and a store manager. Second story is about a guy who deserves to be towed. And our third story about how a random call to a wrong number can bankrupt your company. And our first story, a warning. Sharing these events publicly could get me in trouble, so just to be sure, I will not specify a country I'm from. I'll just say that it's not an English-speaking area. So pardon me if my dialogue translations don't exactly feel the most natural. I'm currently a 33-year-old private investigator, but I was also a police officer for 12 years. During that time, I saw my share of general human garbage. Things could escalate completely out of initial proportions, and I got pretty used to it. What happened to me recently, however, though, still gets me absolutely fuming. For the story, it's also important to note that with a shaved beard, short hair, and a cap, I often hide the fact that my hair is starting to abandon me. People have been asking me for ID when I buy beer, so it's safe to say I look 20-ish at most. The first part of the story is an encounter of minor annoyance. The second, well, we'll get there. I was on a shopping trip in a nearby store, just getting some basic stuff like food, toilet paper, etc. So I was moving all over the store. Wasn't really paying attention to other customers, but eventually grew suspicious of a lady who just happened to follow me wherever I went. I wasn't sure if it was job-related paranoia or not, so I went to get something at one place, then went to completely the opposite side of the store, then right back to the first spot. Sure enough, lady repeated my route a few meters behind. I turned back to her and asked, "Excuse me, ma'am, did you need something from me?" "Well, finally, get me," and she started listing some products, reading from a piece of paper. Me interrupting her after quickly realizing she mistook me for a store worker, no idea why. "Oh, I don't work here, but if you say the magic word, I can help you get these items." I smiled a bit at her as she was older than me, maybe like 50, and I wasn't in any rush, so I didn't mind helping her, but please was definitely not what she was going to say. "How dare you try to school me, kid? My manners are just fine. I was a teacher." "What's that have to do with anything?" "And you're not going to talk to me like this, and of course you work here, kid. Ginger pants like you only work in stores like this. Now, move your butt and get me my things already." You know, in all my time on this sub, I always looked with a little bit of disbelief at these stories. I was shocked. I didn't even say anything, parts. I always knew that I would be the first to lash back at these people, but nope. I just froze as my brain cells seemed to stop working for a moment. "Excuse me, what?" "Lady, are you deaf? All the kids these days are so disrespectful." Unlike elders, apparently. "Here," as she shoved a list into my hand, "get me these things right now. You have 5 minutes or I'll get your butt fired. I know the owner." I presume she meant the manager since it's a global supermarket. "He was my student. He's going to get rid of you right away when I tell him how disrespectful and lazy you are. 5 minutes, tick-tock." I'm just standing there. My IQ level currently is right there with my jaw at the floor. I'm slowly coming back to my senses as she keeps berating me with random insults. Me, "Lady, stop. Calm down." I almost scream. I've been practicing shutting people up for years with a proper tone, so she looks at me angry but stops talking. "I do not work here. Even if I did, I wouldn't have to do anything for you. It's a self-service store. I was about to help you anyway, but the way you acted toward me changed my mind. Also, I'm not a kid, and I couldn't care less about your past career choices. Leave me alone." I turn back and start to head to the cashier, thinking I'm going to get the rest of my stuff another time, but she grabs me by my shirt and tries to pull me back to her. I didn't feel that initially, and I kept moving, so the shirt, of a poor quality as it was, got ripped. She literally just assaulted me and destroyed my property. I turned to her yet again, clearly furious and towering over her, so one would think that's where she stops acting like a B-word. Nothing could be more wrong. She now starts screaming at me, but at this point, I was too annoyed to pay attention to what she was even saying. I grabbed her by the arm, asked one of the now-present spectators that I kind of knew to go get the manager, and waited until he came. The manager, who clearly didn't know the old lady, by the way, after seeing me holding her, screaming with my shirt in pieces, "What in the seven hells is going on here?" Me, over the old lady screeching, "I'm going to call the police right now. They're going to need the footage of this very spot about 2 minutes ago. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but could you please prepare it? I think it's clear why," as I pointed at my torn shirt. The manager asked me to let go of the old lady, so I did. Maybe a second passed, and she just jumped away trying to flee. I grabbed her right back and led her to the manager's office. For those wondering where I'm from, it's called civic detention. I'm allowed to physically hold her until police arrive if she's committed a crime I witnessed or was a victim of. Now, as I said, that particular piece of clothing wasn't expensive at all, so I had no intention of actually pressing any charges, not that it's even much of a thing here, but I did want to scare her a bit to teach her, ironically, a lesson. I pretended to call the police and just sat there listening to her screams slowly turn to crying. Me, was it worth it? Lady, through the tears, "Please, just let me go. Let me go. Please let me go." I can see that she's in a bit of panic, and so despite that fact, I've learned not to trust tears in these kind of scenarios. I decided it was enough. Me, "All right, I'm gonna call him off, but you're gonna have to pay me for my shirt right now." She doesn't say a word, just opens her purse, takes her wallet out, gives me $5. About the cost of this shirt, so fair enough. Then she left. No apology, no thank you. She just got out and left the store. Not as satisfying as I'd hoped for, but at this point, I was sure she did learn her lesson. I chat a bit with the manager, who is actually my friend, laugh at her a little, then finish my shopping, walking around in a torn shirt like Hulk, who just got back to his human form with a slightly better mood. And our second story. I don't work for the complex. Your car was taken off property. Now you're being taken off property. To set the stage, I work for a shop within a much larger shopping district. Think of your basic strip mall, but in a heavy traffic Florida area, so a ton of people, many of which don't live here, and a heavy security force to keep an eye on them. We don't employ the security directly, but as one of the store tenants, they can answer to us if there's an emergency, theft, violence, etc. Our block of shops has a loading bay behind it, which I personally rarely use for anything other than clocking in and out. Occasionally, people try to park there, despite the fact that there is signage specifically telling them not to do so. Our lots are often packed, and they think they can get away with it. I never complain, but the strip's security will tow them in a heartbeat if they see it. The local tow company probably makes a killing from it, which is where the story starts. I'm exiting for the night, and a guy sees me walking out of one of the back doors. We'll call him Entitled Local. "Hey, where the F's my car?" Me, "If you can't find your car, security can check the lot for you." "Nah, I parked it here, man. Where the F is it?" "If you parked your car here, security might have towed it." "You towed my car?" "No, but security might have." "Don't pull that crap. I know you work here. I want to talk to a manager." "I'm the manager on duty at my store, but I don't work for the district. If you want, I can—" "I've been coming here for years, and they never touched my car. This is unacceptable. I expect you to have it returned immediately." "I can't untow your car, man." At this point, he became more and more angry, swearing, insulting me, and escalating it to the point of threatening to kick my butt. As luck would have it, a guard was walking through our lot, so I waved him down. EL began to smile, thinking he finally escalated the problem to someone else who can return his vehicle. Nope. Let's just say security guard is SG. SG. "How's it going?" Me. "Hey, this is the guy who you towed earlier. He's threatening to kick my butt because of it. I want him trespassed off property." Fun fact, the strip mall is all under a single address, with the individual shops being like apartment numbers. So if you get trespassed from any individual shop, that means you're not permitted on the property at all. End of the day, idiot is taken off the property by a handful of security guards, and he swears and spits. Not only did we do nothing about his car being towed, he was permanently banned from returning. And our third story. Did the fusion already happen? So, this is my first ever Reddit post, so please bear with me on this one. I was about 12 or 13 years old when I got a new mobile phone with a brand new number. I was very excited about the phone, but less excited about the number, as it later turned out. I got my first missed call a few days later asking about a Ford, the car company, and some Fusion. I politely said it was the wrong number, and as I was about to say goodbye, the guy on the other side of the line kept pressing me that he called the right number. It made me kind of angry, as I obviously knew who I was, so I assured him this is in fact a 12-year-old speaking, so no Fusion business here. However, the phone calls didn't stop. I'd get 1 or 2 a day for like a week, all about the Fusion. It was getting very annoying, but I kept politely explaining that this is, in fact, the wrong number. Until Saturday came. I love sleeping in on the weekends. I can be extremely cranky if someone messes with my sleep. Sure enough, about 7 a.m. on Saturday, the Ford guy or one of his associates calls me about the Fusion. I had no doubt in my mind what I needed to do. Hi there, this is Tom from so-and-so department. You know if the Fusion already happened? Hi, Tom. Yes, I can absolutely confirm that it's happened. Wow, that's big news. Do you know when? This week. Still very recent. Thanks a lot for the info. Yeah, you're more than welcome. So I hung up the phone and went back to sleeping. Never received another call. I sometimes still think of Tom, and I hope that I didn't bankrupt a company on false information. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.